The theme and focus of the last few days hold the message that to truly nurture the ecosystem of technology startups, we must focus on the education of emerging entrepreneurs. And it's a common metaphor, right, the ecosystem. But consider for a moment what that metaphor implies. In it, the successful emergence of plant from seed is dependent on the state of the garden in which it is planted. The soil, the fertilizer, the tilling of the land all predate the emergence of the plant itself. My presence on this stage today is a testament to the possibilities that arise from engaging entrepreneurs within the university system and at the earliest stages of company development. 4 years ago, when I was named the Chemistry Fellow for the Institute for Sustainability and Energy at Northwestern, I was in the second year of my doctoral program, and I was mightily displeased at the sudden influx of new responsibilities thrust upon me. One such distraction was my enrollment in an entrepreneurship course called Nuvention Energy, led by this man right here, Mr. Mark Werwath. To me, this was an irrelevant waste of my short supply of time and energy. Before the class began, I emailed Jeff Henderson, the program administrator, to say, I don't see how this course will be useful to my career. May I please waive the course and skip the requirement? Jeff responded by saying, why don't you try it and see what happens? Thanks, Jeff. 4 years later, here I stand telling you the story of how Jeff helped shape the future of Hazel Technologies with a single email and an interest in my success. Millions in capital raised, millions in revenue earned, and the livelihood of 14 people currently in the city of Chicago emerged from this one interaction. In the past year, Hazel Technologies treated 700 million pounds of produce with our proprietary shelf life enhancing products. We estimate that we saved nearly 60 million pounds of produce from going to waste and prevented the unnecessary emission of about 500,000 metric tons of CO2 equivalents from produce spoilage. I'm not going to stand here and say that Jeff is responsible for all of that. My team and I did a little work ourselves. But it is true that if Jeff took just a little less interest in what I could gain from a program like Nuvention, Hazel Technologies would not exist. The process of company creation is a balancing act with a delicate equilibrium. It requires dedication, resources, talent, and good fortune in equal measure. Early stage companies are high-risk propositions with the possibility of failure looming from every direction. This is the ordinary work of entrepreneurship. And the only support system in place for student entrepreneurs is the early stage community that teaches them, counsels them, and provides them resources for further growth. If one email can be the difference between my presence here and my absence, contemplate the gravity of your impact. I have less pleasant stories to tell about Hazel and the allergies that we developed to the common predators of early stage companies, the pests in our ecosystem, so to speak. I have seen term sheets, license deals, cap tables, manufacturing agreements, and intellectual property assignments that would have killed us at any step along the way if we had been just one bit less wary. So we've gathered here to discuss and to innovate in sustainability entrepreneurship. The fundamental principles of sustainability center around creation and distribution of value. The creation of wealth, for example, requires proportionality to the external value from which it is derived. If wealth is created merely by redistributing and concentrating value from other sections of society, it propagates the classic economic scenario of negative externality. The challenge in sustainability is to reconfigure our perception of capitalist enterprise to develop businesses that create wealth as a function of value, ultimately engendering positive externality. This is not merely an attitude. This is a praxis. In a sustainable ecosystem, you cannot capture value you do not create. You cannot be the professor owning 51% of the company for which they do not work and claim it is a viable opportunity for student entrepreneurship. You cannot be the tech transfer office offering pay-to-play licensing terms to cash-poor student teams that come to you for their first shot. The temptation that we have is to focus solely on teaching tools and strategies to young entrepreneurs, ignoring that everything that happens to a new company is a hypothesis from which the entrepreneur must draw their lessons. If those lessons are that the entrepreneur, already bearing the ordinary work of their position, will be challenged extraordinarily to find support from within their own ecosystem, none of the seeds we plant will ever yield fruit. So I commend all of you for your involvement here, and I thank you personally. Your decision to be present and mindful will make the difference between success and failure for another entrepreneur. Remember that a single email changed my life. Mark always makes me say that he changed my life. It's true. I'll give him that. I'll let him have that one. Your actions at every level of our ecosystem generate the feedback entrepreneurs use to gain confidence, to learn from their failures, and ultimately to de-risk their companies. If we remain mindful of the greater value we can all create together, then there is no limit to how we can improve the world around us. Thank you very much for your time and attention. It's been a great pleasure. Enjoy your lunch.